Hey guys, it's Casey's Politics. So today I'll be making a 2026 governor prediction, this time as of June. Some primaries have already taken place for governor races since my last prediction. So that has changed the dynamic of a few races. There was a very big upset in one primary in Iowa. We're gonna go over that later in the video. But with the information we currently have and going off the current primary results, we're going to fill out this map. So, as always, we will start off with the safe Republican states. That will be Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas. We'll put Florida in there, Oklahoma, Nebraska, South Dakota, Idaho, Wyoming, and Vermont. Phil Scott running for re-election. Those should be the safe Republican states. Now we're going to do the safe Democrat states. Starting off on the East Coast, we have Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Looks like their current incumbent Democrat governor will be primaried out, as the current governor is very unpopular. Massachusetts, and we will put Illinois, Pritzker running again. I think New York will probably get over 10. And we'll put Minnesota, Colorado, New Mexico, Hawaii, California. And I think we can also put Pennsylvania in safe. Looks like Shapiro is doing really good in his re-election polls. As we get closer, it may go down to likely again, but I'll put it at safe as of now just because it looks like Shapiro is really doing well in the polls. So, to the likely Republican states, firstly, we'll start off with Kansas. This is a flip. The incumbent Democrat governor, who kind of won on a fluke the last couple times, he is term limited, and Democrats don't really have many other strong recruits. Republicans, there's a bunch of candidates running for them. Trump made an endorsement in this race. He endorsed Ty Masterson. I think he will be a good governor. But regardless who the Republican is, I think this will be a Republican flip. And then we have Texas, Greg Abbott. I think he's going to win with pretty much no problem. I think the Senate race is definitely going to be a lot more competitive. Can't forget about New Hampshire. Kelly Ayotte, the very moderate Republican governor, pretty popular. She should have no problem with winning. Now, there's a couple likely Democrat states. Firstly, Oregon. The Democrat governors in Oregon are very unpopular always. A Democrat hasn't won the Oregon governor race by more than double digits over 2 decades ago, more than 2 decades ago. So a Republican was polling pretty decent against Tina Kotek, the incumbent Democrat governor, but he lost his primary. It looks like Christine Drazan will be the Republican nominee. She's a very strong candidate. She came very close in 2022, just falling short. But it is going to be a relatively favorable year for Democrats, so I think Kotek is going to be dragged across the finish line with that. And Maine, this could be safe, but at the top of the ticket with the Senate race, that may have a bit of an influence. So getting into the lean states, firstly, we're going to start off with Nevada. Joe Lombardo running for re-election. He will face Attorney General Aaron Ford. Lombardo is pretty popular. I think he could win by a likely margin, but we'll have to get more polling out of this race. And then also Ohio, Vivek Ramaswamy versus Amy Acton. Ramaswamy, not really the strongest candidate, not really the best fit in Ohio, but I think he's still going to win. Amy Acton is not a very good candidate at all. No matter how much Democrats want to try to hype her up, she's not a very good candidate at all. So I think Vivek will win by a couple points. Similar margin to the 2018 governor race, I believe, maybe a little bit less. And we'll also put Alaska in lean Republican. Democrats are running a Begich, someone with the Begich last name who is pretty well known in Alaska. The Begich family is pretty big in Alaska. The representative, Nick Begich, is a Republican, but I believe his uncle, Tom Begich, is running as a Democrat. So the Begich last name goes pretty far in Alaska, but Alaska is a relatively red state, and I expect the Republican to win there, albeit by a closer margin. And another lean state, Iowa. This one is going down from likely, I believe. There was a massive primary upset in the Republican primary. Randy Feenstra was seen as the pretty much guaranteed nominee. But Zach Lane, who is a pretty grassroots anti-establishment candidate, narrowly won the Republican primary. He's going to be facing Auditor Rob Sand, who's probably the Democrats' strongest recruit. Rob Sand is trying really hard to play like a moderate stick. It may work, it may not. Iowa's economy, not really where they completely want it to be, but I think Lane can rally up some more anti-establishment populist voters. He can get them out to the polls. I think he would be a pretty strong candidate. And Iowa's trending very Republican over the last decade, so I expect Republicans to win. I think it'll be pretty narrow, maybe by a point or so. But I think Lane will be able to win that Iowa governor race. Then we have Michigan. I think Jocelyn Benson will win Michigan. It was originally going to be a three-way race between former mayor of Detroit, Mike Duggan. Duggan recently suspended his campaign. He was running as an independent. I think he would draw a decent amount of votes away from both Democrats and Republicans, maybe a bit more from Democrats in the Detroit area. He got a lot of Democrat endorsements, local leaders in Detroit, but it'll now be Secretary of State Benson versus Representative John James. John James is a decently strong candidate, but the Secretary of State usually has pretty good name recognition. It's going to be a bit of an unfavorable year for Republicans. So I think Democrats will narrowly win the Michigan's governor race. We have Arizona. Arizona has pretty decent Republican voter registration trends. Trump outperformed the polls in 2024. He did a lot better in Arizona than I expected. This is definitely in play, but Katie Hobbs sees the incumbent. She's tried to remain as little controversial as possible in Arizona, because Arizona is a very swingy state, elastic state. Republicans didn't really get their best recruits in Arizona. I think if they nominated a different statewide office holder, such as Kimberly Yee or somebody else that performed pretty well in 2022, I think they could even win this race. But Republicans didn't nominate the best candidates, and Hobbs is the incumbent after all, so I think as of now she's going to narrowly be able to hold on. And then we have Georgia. Now, it will be either Republican Rick Jackson and Burt Jones. They are going to a runoff in late June, I believe, is the runoff, but they are going to a runoff. I think Burt Jones would be a stronger candidate. Rick Jackson has a bit of baggage, a bit of a controversial past, some questionable things such as hiring illegal immigrants or supporting some DEI initiatives. I think Burt Jones would be a stronger candidate. He is the lieutenant governor. He has that name recognition. He's going up against Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is kind of a Stacey Abrams-like candidate. Lance Bottoms pretty much let Atlanta burn during the 2020 riots. She's not really a strong candidate. Her only appeal is like black Atlanta area residents, not really the kind of candidate to appeal to those suburbanites in the ancestrally Republican areas. So Lance Bottoms is not really a good fit for Georgia. I think Burt Jones is going to pick up a bit of ground in the northern Atlanta suburbs, which is more ancestrally Republican. And I think Jones is going to narrowly be able to pick it off. This may go down to tilt. I'll put it as lean Republican. Final state, we have Wisconsin. Now, Republicans are running Tom Tiffany, who is a relatively decent candidate. The Democratic primary is between Mandela Barnes, who lost in 2022, the loss in the 2022 Senate race, and he's the former lieutenant governor. And there's Francesca Hong, who is like the left-wing candidate endorsed by Bernie Sanders, progressive candidate. Democrats seem to be embracing her. I don't think she's a very good fit at all in Wisconsin. She may just be aided by the national environment. Wisconsin is kind of difficult for Republicans to win in a midterm environment with the low propensity voters and the different propensity dynamics in Wisconsin. So this race definitely depends on the primary. We'll have to see, but as of now, I'll put it as tilt Democrats, just because we don't really know who the Democrat nominee is going to be yet. But this race is definitely going to come down to turnout and different propensity dynamics. So that's the governor prediction for June 2026. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel, comment down below, like the video. Thank you guys for watching. It's Casey's Politics.